Welcome to BTS Plains FF's disclaimer. This is a complete work of fan fiction. It's been more than 5 hours since Wine came back to Sophia's penthouse. Sophia have tried many times to ask her what happened. Thousand questions and many more other things. But Wine was sitting in her living room like a statue without any life. Every passing second was worrying Sophia more for Wine. By the earlier conversation, her actions, she obviously knew Wine went to meet Jungkook, and now, by the look of Wine's face, she concluded things didn't end well. As she tried to reassure Wine, but still, Wine was not responding at all. Only if Sophia knows Wine just passed through a living. Only if she know what happened to her best friend was something extreme terrible. Only if she know how much this incident break her. Only if she know Wine herself don't know if she'll ever be able to hold back her broken pieces again. Sophia, can you please call Jimin here? That's the only words she speak after her constant pleadings to talk or speak something. Few moments passed in same situation. Doorbell rings and Sophia went to receive Jimin. What happened to her? She's just not talking at all and sitting there like a statue from straight 5 hours. I have literally begged her to respond, but still she is same. At this point, she's making me really worried. Please talk to her. Maybe she told you something, or what's wrong? They were outside one's room, and she have heard them clearly. She knew Sophia was worried, and now Jimin as well, but she have decided the same thing she was worrying to Gore. But last 2 hours make her realize some brighter truth of life. Wayne, what's wrong with the one? What happened, Cupcake? Did someone say something to you? He examined her whole body with worried face, while Wayne was just reading his facial expressions calmly, but with a cold face. She had not changed her face expressions. I'm pregnant, Chim Chim, she announced, tears stinging back of her eyes. Sophie gasps in surprise, but she somehow overcome it, while Jimin have shocked expressions. But looking towards her condition, he also digests the news easily because mainly the way she was reacting was complete new face of her. The same bubblish girl who never stops talking around her loved ones was unusually quiet, and it was getting creepy, but they didn't know how much pain she was hiding behind the cold face of hers. She was not crying, probably that's the reason. Okay, he pauses. It's completely fine, Cupcake. If you're worried how mom and dad react, I assured you I'll deal with them. Don't worry. He hoped she may smile or squeal in happiness, but her expressions never changed. So, who's the lucky guy then? He tripped and stared at her for a few minutes as if trying to read her face or wanting to read what's going in her mind. But when her expressions didn't change, it twisted something in his heart. Did someone force you wine? His voice took a sharp edge and eyes darkened. Face color changes while he clenched his jaw tightly as if ready. Who's behind it? No, it wasn't like that. She pauses as if thinking something deeply. Actually, you were right, Jimin, but I have not listened to you. She was talking about Jungkook, how her brother warned her, but she never listened. You were always right. She laughs without any humor. Each and everything you said was right. You have always tried to make me understand things, and it turns out you were always right. And true. Tears rolled down her eyes, but Jimin was not able to understand a single thing she said. I never found anything that you have told me and it ends up wrong. But like always, I didn't listen. I didn't listen and see how I am now, broken, devastated, miserable. More tears slid down her eyes. With wobbly lips while he panicked, his face puzzled. Why are you talking like this, Ryan? Tell me, he's saying I'll talk with his friends myself and shakes her head as no. Tears continuously dripping down her eyes. He's already committed, and the bomb exploded on his head. Is it any of my friend? He asks calmly after a few minutes of concluding their whole conversation, but anger was wildly flaring in his body to see her crying like this. Is the baby you're carrying is any of our friend? Did any manipulate you and make you pregnant? He said it with anger after he concluded from her words. Manipulate? The word pings deep in her soul. Jimin was right. Jungkook really did manipulate her. She wants to laugh on her misery, but couldn't. Her nerves were not working at all. Who did this? He asked again. I don't want to talk about it, and also don't want you to tell anything about this to mom dad right now, Chim Chim. She almost pleaded. Why? I don't have an urge to face anyone, so please don't tell it to anyone. And if you really want to do something for me, then just hide me. Her last words almost exploded, her voice herself showing her vulnerability and pain. You know, leave this place and sit here and maybe kind to us all. Why not? My mind is not working and I don't want to face anyone. Or eventually, I need some time to figure out what do I actually want. Jimin thought for something and then nodded silently. I would tell our parents about leaving. One stopped him and shakes her head as though someone need to know where are we going. He tried to make her understand. Okay, if you don't want to tell our parents, then let me tell to my friend. When will I know who to Jimin trust so blindly that he was ready to hand over his company in his absence and for a matter as well, after himself blindly? And she was right, it was Jungkook whose number he opened. Her heart broke again. What would Jimin do after knowing it's Jungkook behind her, this condition? How would he take this situation? Can you really trust your friends in no matter, Jimin? Jimin hands drops. He looked at her and then his phone screen for a few seconds. She don't know what he read on her face, but he didn't call him and shut his phone instead. Okay, as I wish, one was surprised knowing how is he reacting after knowing about everything. It was complete different than she expected. She was not in her senses. She know he have figured out too, and deep down she wanna thank him to this everything this calmly. An hour passed. Sophie somehow managed to move wine in her room, and she had also changed her clothes into more comfortable ones. While Jimin was making calls all the time, why no? He is sacrificing a big thing for her. Handling everything behind his release was a big thing. And she don't know how he will manage everything if he leave country with her without even asking a second question. And as much as it was breaking her heart thinking she is being selfish, she knows no one can understand her and take care of her in this condition or situation except her brother. Tears of pain trickle down from the corner of her eyes. She never thinks things will turn out like this. You ready? Why not? Okay, my private jet is ready. We're leaving in 10 minutes. I'm not taking my phone, as you wish. Jimmy, are you sure we could be safe and nobody will know our location? Her voice was so meek, no more than a mere whisper, and he had sensed vulnerability in it as well. He cupped her cheeks and creased it with his thumb, lightly, wiping her tears that she didn't even notice. I don't know what is going in your mind and what is actually happening, but I promise I'll keep you safe, Cupcake. He reassured her, and she know he will. More tears well up in her eyes, and she wasn't able to control herself and hugged him dearly. Jimin just shared her silent sobs on his shoulder as he rubs her back in a calming manner, while mumbling some soothing words in attempt to reassure her. He don't know the whole story, but he know however hurts his little girl is in deep trouble. He have to face her brother first before coming to her sister again. He himself felt his eyes glossy but wiped them immediately. He need to be strong for her. He can't let her faith down. I'm here, Cupcake. No one lay even a single finger in you before facing me. One hugged him more dearly with sobs. As she nodded slightly, she trusted him blindly. She knows he was not lying. He have always protected her from childhood and now in every consideration. I know, she mumbled softly, a bit calmer than before. They both apart and he wiped her eyes. Let's go. I'm outside. Why not? And he took the small bag she had packed from Sophia's closet before going out. Sophie was also coming with them. One look at her phone besides the bed. She was contemplating will she switch on her phone or not, which she has switched off from the time she come out of his house. A few beats passed. She was just staring it silently. When knew by now, Jungkook must already know she was there. She met with her mother, and knowing her, she must tell everyone Wine was there. She wanna know how did he react? Did he freak out? She found that everything was a lie. Was he planning to make her his mistress, or was he just using her for himself? Thousands of questions was going through her mind. She extended her hand to grab phone. Her hands shake visibly as she bit her lower lip as if trying to not panic. Somehow she held the phone as soon as it switched on. Hundreds of notification pings startling her. She didn't open anyone, but just read the notifications. There was more than 200 calls from him and 100 plus messages. She took a dark, shaky breath and immediately switched it off again. She can't let him know her location, and knowing him for more than a year and a half now, he must be searching for a location by now. Let's go. She blubbered in one breath, sweat beads on her forehead. She knew he was searching for her. Please don't take your phone, both of you. She breathes out, shakily. He was not a normal person. He was the mafia king. Whole country was under the snap of his finger. And she knew he had some excellent hackers. If he was addicted or obsessed, he was in deep. She knew it too, but now he broke her himself. Relax, Swan. Let's see, Whoop up, please. She was not supposed to turn on her phone at first place, and she came to Sophia's Swanton also because Jungkook didn't know about it. Okay, we're leaving, and none of us are taking our phone. So please don't worry. And I have burner phone that no one knows. And moreover, I have a whole digital hacking team in my radar. One breathed it out a sigh of relief, nodding lightly. Next 10 minutes passed in extreme hurry. Jimin also arranged a discus car for them. Once family were as rich as Jungkook was, but mafias are something out of the box that you really don't want to deal with. Her right one heart was beating so fast. She was not weak, but the situation was no less dangerous, and the bigger part she was pregnant with this baby. She also knew mafias have something for their first child as their heart, and that was worrying her more. The baby in her womb was not just anyone, and moreover, she herself don't know right now what is right and wrong. She was determined she won't let him decide anything for herself, or whether if she wanna keep baby or not. It was her decision and only hers. She'll let them break her heart. It was more than enough. Fortunately, they reached to dirt safely and nothing out of the box happened, and also reached to their destination in Colombia safely. One have decided the location while Jimin arranged everything with his burner phone. She was having a feeling that Jimin might understand from her panicking and being extra secretive and cautious self. It's Jungkook because no one in his friend circle was as powerful and overly aggressive and ruthless in him. But he didn't ask even a single question to her, and that was increasing more respect for him in her eyes. Both of your rooms are in front of each other. Go get fresh. I'll prepare something to eat. June, wait, you need to fresh up and as well, so let's cook together after freshing up. What do you guys say? She stared both of them with hopeful eyes, and they both nods with a smile. Sounds good. He knew one needs to focus on something else, and it was best to divert her attention on other things before she started panicking or stressing herself all over again. Yep, for me too. One smiles, and Jimin and Sophia both stare her in awestruck, totally bewildered, not believing their eyes. She was already feeling less tensed with the change of air, and that honestly lost some of their nerves as well. One got awkward witnessing them staring her like a baby, and her smile dropped as well, but she was still fine, they can say. Okay then, see you guys in a bit. With that saying, she rushed in her room. Jimin have booked a private villa, so three of them have different rooms of their own. They made food as planned. With the loud gossips, atmosphere was changing. Jimin and Sophia see her better relaxed self than before. They start passing and one was processing everything, what she have to do, and there was no such news regarding Jungkook. Even if there was any, Jimin didn't tell anything to Wan. She knew Jimin was traveling searching for her case as well. 10 days passed. She was better than the first day they arrived to Colombia, and especially Jimin and Sophia's presence led her to positive things and decided her better. They both were good advisors. I decided I'm not carrying this baby, when announced. Are you sure? He asked after complete silence of a few minutes, when just nods in response. Yes, I have not even completed my graduation yet, Appa. I don't think I'm able to take care of my own self. Taking care of my innocent soul is our responsibility. I don't think I'm ready. She pauses. Moreover, I'm not planning to be anyone's. Her voice took a harsh tone in the end, but Jimin didn't fail to notice the vulnerability and pain behind it. As you wish, it's your decision to make wine have smiles, but don't you think he'll just need to know maybe there's some misunderstanding? Who knows? He shrugs last and one smile also dropped, bearing him. I don't think so, Chim Chim sighs. Will you both accompany me for a gynecologist appointment? Is it even a question? They both replied in unison. Great then, I'm going to my room. Without saying she left from there, her heart was heavy. She was feeling sorrowful all over again. It was an easy decision, but she can't stay with a constant hurt and heart failure. Her entire life and knowing her child is his would only increase her pain. One of the tummy tears of pain continues dripping from her eyes. I'm sorry, one. I really am sorry. She hiccups with sobs, staring herself in mirror, hands still rubbing her stomach. I don't want to see any kind of pain after coming in world. I'm really sorry. She cries more. When my psychologist turned, she have read countless divorce cases and what would that tragedy affect on the child's mental health? She know it causes more pain to kids as much as to elders. Also, if she keep him or her, what will she reply when they will ask for their father? And if somehow Jungkook came to know about it, she would sure he would put a whole fight to either keep her with baby or either snatch her little bean from her. She don't have big heart for any of these. So after thinking a lot, she came to this conclusion of abortion. It was midnight when she opened her eyes after hearing some noises as she rubbed her eyes to escape drowsiness and went out towards the source of voice. Jimin, are you there? No response. Sophia, is it you? She whispered, but no one replied. For some unknown reason, dread was filling her system. Her feet hit something in slight dark room, and she looks down, only to let out a loud squeak. It was her brother, alongside with Sophia lying in floor covered. She yelled loudly in pain and hurt. Her eyes went glossy, body trembles as she took a step backwards in fear and shock, only to bump with someone from behind. Miss me, sweetheart? She heard the awfully familiar husky drawl in her ear, and all the air escaped from her lungs, and she forgot to breathe. He snuggled in her nape as his hand went toward her stomach and crazy lightly, with the frame hold. Tears started dripping down her eyes. Jungkook, she whispered with her trembling lips. Yes, love. And she closed her eyes, dressed for some composure. Her whole body was trembling, and a sob left her mouth. She meant Sophie, she whispered, looking towards on floor, anger bubbled up in her body. What you have done, she growled, pushing him away. While more tears rolled down her eyes, he gripped his seat and before she knew, grabbed her. Her eyes widened in shock. They helped you in escape, even worse, so you're planning to. My child, he growled. You deserve punishment as well, don't you? Wayne tried to pull his hand away, but her energy was nothing in front of him. One suddenly jerked up, sweat beads on her forehead, and she was breathing heavily. As she hastily looks around only to find her in her room, she sighs it was just a nightmare and drank a glass of water with trembling hands. Time skip. They went to hospital, met with doctor, and done with all the procedure. Coming back home, Wen was feeling more empty than before. Her hair was bruised badly. Sophie found her crying silently in her room and eventually wasn't able to hold back herself as well. She knew everything from Wen's first date to the end. She knew how much Wen was in love with him, how much she got scared just thinking what will she do if she is really pregnant. And then betrayal. It was unexpected but too deep, and her heart was breaking as well. One was cooking in kitchen while humming a song, lost in her own world, and that's when she heard doors burst open, making her startle. But she shakes her head and continued working. When felt goosebumps rubbed all over her body. To hear his log roll, her hand stops in mid-sentence, her breath hitch in throat. It's okay, Gwen, you're just being delusional again. He can't find you. She tried to ease herself, but the intensity and forcefulness of his cold gaze was burning her skin. She hastily snapped her face up, their eyes met, and she just froze on her position. He was really there. But how? We need to talk. He rasps again, coldly, and her breath became uneven as she clutched. She was holding more tightly. She looked around for her brother or best friend, but there was no one around except both of them. A thin line rushed to her spine with fear. Jimin casually came in living room nearby kitchen and sat in couch. His whole concentration was on his phone. I don't think we have anything left to talk about. He clutched his fist tightly, and anxiety was increasing in Wayne's system. Yes, we do. Come out with me when I'm talking with you politely. No, we don't. She looks towards him and thinking, why was he not reacting or coming there? He didn't notice Jungkook there, and then it hits her when if Jimin saw Jungkook there. One didn't share anything with him, so technically he didn't know it's Jungkook all along. For who am she was hiding? She felt sweat beads start forming in her forehead. Her eyes turned slightly glossy and her body shivered on the intensity of his dark gaze that was literally pinning her on spot, while Jungkook stood her trembling self and teary self as his eyes slightly softened for a fraction. Trust me, I'm being so patient right now. Let's go outside, sunshine. Really needs to talk. When she shakes her head as no, while tears was continuously dripping down from her eyes. He closed his eyes as he clutched his jaw tightly. Muscles stiffened, fisted palms. Jimin murmured incoherently with her shaky lips, but he didn't respond, and that's when her eyes went to his airport as she took a sharp breath. She never felt herself so helpless like this moment. She called him again, but still he didn't respond. You have 30 seconds. Come with me like a good girl, sweetheart, he grits her. Else I have to take things in my hands. And trust me, you don't want that. Her body visibly starts trembling. Was her nightmare was about to become real. To be continued.